Are we in here? Can anybody see me? Let's see what's going on here. All right. I think I'm live. I'm not sure. Hopefully I'm live. My camera is in black and white right now, which is kind of weird, at least on my end. So hopefully I'm live. Yeah. Let me mess with some stuff real quick. Raptor Will. I am in black and white. Or is it color? Because I'm seeing black and white. If it's color on your end, that's all that matters. So we're just gonna keep rolling if it's good on your end. All right, cool. It's good on your end. I'm not sure what's going on over here, but we're gonna work with it. So for anybody watching the replay of this in the future, we are going to be doing some live knife sharpening, and we're just going to be chatting it up with all the people here in chat. If you are watching this on the replay later on, make sure you try and get into one of these while I'm doing it live. I really enjoy interacting with all of you out there in YouTube land, and I really appreciate it if you came in while we're live. For everybody who's in here right now, we've got Chad, Raptor Will, Loma's in here, some typical suspects. Thank you guys for coming in. If you guys saw a video from me, probably, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, I did a video testing some cheap fixed blades, and in that video, I ended up dulling all of my knives and seeing how much sharpness they lost as part of the sharpness test. Well, I have all 4 of those knives that I did. I have them sitting here because I still have not resharpened them. So that's what we're going to be doing in this live, and just chatting as well. Just kind of hanging out as I do this. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Any questions you got, any topics you got to talk about pertaining to the channel, make sure you throw them in chat. Everyone's greeting one another. We got Stuart in here now. So yeah, thank you guys for coming in. We got 5 people in here already. That's nice. So I'm going to tilt it down so that you can hopefully see what's going on down here. Yeah, I have a couple of different sharpening stones here. And I have the 4 knives that we're going to be sharpening. And I also have my leather strop. So I'm just essentially going to do my standard sharpening routine. And, you know, just go through it. If you guys got any questions about it, let me know, and just throw some typical chats in there. We're going to have a good time. So as I get started here, the very first thing I'm going to do is move this stone because these 2 are diamond stones, so they're going to sharpen a whole lot quicker than that stone. And I might use that a little bit because some of these steels are cheaper. And they don't hold their edge as well, meaning they're going to be easier to sharpen and easy enough to where I can probably do it on the actual stone. But these diamond ones are going to be really important for doing stuff like this. Off-grid knives, which is in D2, and the Schrade, which is in AUS 10, because they're a little bit harder steels and are going to be tougher to sharpen. Let's see what else is going on in chat. At least I've got a mod here. I do, Stuart. I got to add some more mods here. As my channel's getting bigger and I got more people coming into lives and stuff, I got to give some more people mod status. So I'll probably do some of that after this live. But, yeah. Which one should we start with? Any suggestions? I think I'm probably going to start with one of the bigger ones because I'm kind of rusty on my sharpening. I haven't had to sharpen something in a couple months. So the bigger ones will probably be a little bit easier to do since I'm a little bit rusty. Get back in the zone, you know? Before I start, I do want to put out my typical disclaimer that I do when I do any sort of video with knives, just because YouTube gets mad if I don't. Any knives shown on my channel are meant to be used as tools. They're not meant to hurt anybody. That's not their intended purpose for me. They're meant to be used as tools in your outdoor recreation. I want to put that out there just so that YouTube knows I'm giving you guys the right ideas. So I think I'm going to start with the Schrade Isolate. You're doing okay at the moment, but if you're going to throw wrenches at people, Chad and Loma are good candidates. Awesome. Yeah, I know. I mean, Chad's a president, so you know any president's probably pretty good candidate to help out. You know, and Loma's definitely in a lot of the lives and premieres that I do, as well as other people in the community. So I definitely agree with you on that point there, Stuart. So I'm gonna get to sharpening this. This is, I'm not sure what grit this is. It's a 300 grit, something like that. Pretty coarse for a diamond sharpening stone. I'm gonna start on this and kind of just get my edge profile worked out. I'll probably do a video talking more specifically about technique for knife sharpening at some point. But basically what I'm doing is the edge has like an angle. If I lay it flat here, I'm not actually on the edge, I'm kind of just on steel. But you're essentially, what you want to do is you want to kind of roll it up until it sits flat with the edge bevel, not the knife bevel, but the actual edge bevel. And you kind of just want to follow that. So I'm going to start working on that. As I mentioned, I'm probably a little bit rusty because I haven't done this in a while, but we'll see. And you want to make sure you kind of curve it as you go so you get that tip nice and good. Stuart's over there making fun of Chad in chat. Probably going to do 10, maybe 12 strokes and then switch sides on this. See, I came off the stone. That's a sign that I'm a little bit rusty. And you'll notice, anybody who's not familiar with this, that I'm actually pulling like towards myself with the blade like going against the grain. I'm not pulling away from the blade. I find it cuts, like kind of digs in a little bit better that way. And that's how most people who know what they're doing even more than I do it. So that's the way I typically do it. A couple more on this side. Chad says he loves the diamond stones. Yeah, the diamond stones can be fairly pricey to get into, but they make the work that you do a lot easier, lot faster. And if you're someone like me who likes testing knives, trying different knives, and you have a bunch of them for a bunch of different purposes, it can definitely be useful to be able to get it done fast, and the diamond stones can be a good investment. I think this like diamond stone, it's a double-sided, and holder was like 60 bucks, 50 bucks, 60 bucks. So it's not cheap, but it can definitely be worth it. I have knives that are way more than 50 or 60 bucks. So to keep the edge on them, that is well worth it for me. So yeah, I did that side, and then you kind of want to feel for a burr, make sure you're kind of getting a little bit of buildup on the other side, which I am. And then I'm going to flip and take that burr off. And see what Chad's doing. I feel like I'm missing a couple of them. The closest thing you got to diamond stone is the ring on your wife's finger. Stuart's still making fun of Chad. It's kind of Stuart's thing. He likes to playfully mess with people. It's like his calling card. There you go. That's better. I had my angle a little bit too shallow there. You gotta get to a point to where you can feel the angle to get good at these sorts of things. Where is Bob? We need Bob here, or Boab, or however Stuart spells it. I'm not sure I've ever heard a pronunciation of it. I've just seen it in chat. Yeah, I'm not sure where Bob is. I'm actually going to bend down. I'm rocking his hat, so he's got to come in here and see me, you know? A couple more strokes on this side, and then we'll do some more. The other thing about doing this which is kind of interesting, is that you start to notice little imperfections. As I mentioned in the video where I reviewed these knives, some of these cheaper knives do have a little bit of like rough around the edges. This one's pretty good, but the very heel of the blade here is ever so slightly not straight. So I can feel that when I'm sharpening. I can tell it's not quite straight up in this region because I'm sharpening on a completely flat stone. It's not that big of a deal, but it is something interesting that I wouldn't have noticed if I wasn't trying to sharpen it. So now what I'm going to do that I've done like a lot of passes on each side is kind of just do a couple and pass back and forth a little bit quicker. And then I'm going to do a test to see how we're coming along here and see if I need to make any adjustments on any particular portions of the blade. There you go. Let's check chat again. All right. Feels like we're doing pretty good so far. I've got like a advertisement thing that I get in the mail every once in a while from Cabela's. This one's from Black Friday, but I use this typically as my test to see if I'm doing good on getting it sharpened up using this paper. So like we can cut in and cut through it, but it's still not great. So, I mean, that section's pretty good. This also gives me a good gauge of if I'm doing good on particular sections or not. So that section's good. I get to hear there's a little hang up. There's a big hang up there. So I know I need to keep working on those sections. Let's keep going. I'm going to be a little bit more slow and concise now that I know exactly where I need to work on. Yet again, thank you for everyone who's still in here watching. Make sure you keep chatting, keep me entertained here. To be honest, that's probably the biggest reason why I did this live tonight, because I knew I was going to do some knife sharpening, and I needed something entertaining to occupy the other half of my mind when I'm doing knife sharpening, so I thought I'd do a live. So you guys got to keep me entertained here, you know? Now I'm going to do like a stroke per side and then switch. Just kind of hone that edge real nice. Let's test the edge again. I still have a little hang up right there, but the rest of it's pretty good. Well, that's probably right where the hang up is. Yep. So that's pretty good. And right out by where it transitions into the more belly, like curved section of the blade, I got a little hang up there. So I got to keep working on those sections. Do you have a butcher steel? Hold on, let me see that again. Chad asks, do you have a butcher steel? I steal the edge after the stone. So yeah, that's for anyone who's not familiar. You have like a rod, which I call it a honing steel, but I guess Chad calls it a butcher steel. It's like a rod. It's probably 1/4 inch in diameter, something like that, and you kind of do the same thing I'm doing here, and you kind of run it back and forth along that butcher steel to kind of knock some of the extra little abrasions out after you're done. And those can work. They kind of just take off metal particulates. But what I actually prefer is using a ceramic rod, same sort of shape, same sort of idea, but it's a little bit harder and should actually kind of polish out some of the imperfections a little bit better. I have used those in the past. I used to work at a bakery, and I actually ended up sharpening up all the knives because I was the best at it. And I used one of those there. I actually don't have one in my own personal collection because I get such high grits. This is not the highest grit. That's actually the backside of this, but I use such high grits that I polish it out pretty good anyways. I'll probably end up getting some eventually. And then after I go from the real high grits, I'll just take it to the leather strop. It's not necessarily required to have something like that, but it is a good idea. And that's a good point by Chad. Those are pretty good. I prefer the ceramic ones, but the steel ones are more than adequate to get most jobs done. So I'm going to keep working this one out here. Yeah, there's definitely that little section that isn't quite flat in the way back that's giving me a little bit of trouble. I found a Bob. He's in Florida. Yeah, I heard that something when I was in his premiere earlier today about Florida. I was kind of doing two things at once and didn't think much of it, but I didn't know he was actually in Florida. I thought he was just saying something about Florida. Interesting. I guess that's what you get for not fully paying attention, you know? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on my side. I'm still black and white. So I'm glad it's good for you guys, but I am black and white. My screen, that is. Definitely getting sharper. Let's give it another test here. I'm actually going to run it on the strop a couple times just to kind of take off any of the abrasions that are currently on there. I told his co-host that you needed a mod in your channel, so I am here. Yep. Thanks for being good like that, Stuart. You always are. I mentioned it in previous lives, but Stuart's like the ultimate moderator and multitasker in the community. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm not sure if I've got all the little imperfections out. There was one I got caught up right there, but well, now I can't cut. Maybe I spoke too soon. There you go. That's good. There's probably one or two little imperfections, but generally that's pretty good. Definitely better than where we were a minute ago. So I'm going to work on this just a minute or two longer on this stone, and then we'll move on to a different stone. That is super thin paper too. So a lot of the like failed cutting attempts you have to do with the paper bending in a weird way and not actually your blade. So it's like magazine paper to give you guys some perspective. There we go. One of the things that I find really helpful to doing this well is a lot of people like to do like pull it directly perpendicular to the stone. So like if the edge of the stone's like this, put it like exactly at a 90-degree angle to the stone. I actually don't like to do that. I end up having it like a little bit curved like this and then starting it there. I'm not sure why, but it helps me get a more natural motion. So if you guys are ever trying to sharpen on flat stones and you're having issues, try putting it at a little bit of an angle. I'm not sure exactly why, but it really helped me to get better at this and kind of get a more natural motion when I started doing it at an angle. Got 7 people in here. Yet again, thank you guys for coming in as the air conditioning system kicks on. So hopefully that's not too bad for you in there. I saw an Anyfin. Anyfin is here. Well, Stuart says Bob is in Florida fishing Donkey Land in Okeechobee, and then Bob suddenly pops in. There he is. Liked and shared, and everyone's now saying hi to Anyfin, the man himself. I don't know if you saw, but I'm wearing your hat today, Bob. I keep bending down here like crazy person, but yeah, there's your hat. I'm rocking it today. Now I'm just going back and forth. There you go, get the tip out there. And that should pretty much be good to move on. We'll give it one more test before we move on to the next grit stone. But that should be pretty good. Bob says he's everywhere. He's an omnipresent person. Just hit that like button. Thank you, Chad. We're up to 6 likes on the stream. Thank you, guys. Let's get out this magazine paper. Give it one more test before we move on. There you go. Yeah, it's definitely doing better now. I can't get a clean cut because the paper's so bendy, but I should get a fresh piece of paper. Let's do that so I can actually get a clean cut. Here's a fresh piece of paper. Let's see if I can actually get a clean cut right down the middle. Oh, we have a little bit of a hang up, but that should polish out here in a minute. Well, that was pretty good for a while there. This magazine paper is real hard to deal with. I'm not looking for perfection here, just it to be pretty good. I can polish it up a little bit more off stream. We got 8 here. We'll now just drop to 6 as he said that. That's always how it works. But yet again, thanks for everyone who's in here. I appreciate your time, and I always appreciate interacting with you guys. So now what I'm actually going to do is switch to this stone, which is a 600 grit. It has a little holder built into this stone, but I always put it in this holder anyway because it's a it's a pretty weighty base, and this is not, so it'll slide around a little bit, whereas this will not. So I'm going to put it in there so it'll stay put for me. This one I actually got this stone specifically aimed at Bob. I actually got this from the one dude at the Philly Fishing Expo a couple years back, which I saw Bob and Kev at this year. I made a whole video on that again. If you guys haven't seen that one, go check that one out. It's a pretty long video. So if it's not your cup of tea, actually don't check it out. But, you know, yeah, I'm encouraging you to not check out my video, but I don't want you just watching something that you're not interested in. It's a pretty long one. But if you like fishing, a lot of cool gear in that one to look at. So I'm now onto a finer grit stone. I think this is a 600 grit. If you're just doing touch-ups on blades, this one is pretty good. But I dulled these knives pretty good for that test. So I'm doing a full sharpening to get it back. So at this point, I'm actually kind of completely avoiding that little heel of the blade that's been giving me problems, and I'm going to deal with that off stream, because it would not be much fun in me just working at a little kick up in the heel of the blade. So I'm going to save that for later and just do the rest of this edge here. Nolan, that hat needs a touch-up. It's anything is probable. Yep. I'll put a little piece of tape over it and relabel it. See if I missed anything else in chat. I have a tinfoil hat, and if I bend it just right, I can get this channel in. Gotcha. Bob has it. Oh, okay. It's part of the previous comment. Bob has his Floridian counterpart on the TV, and Bob is on his phone here or laptop, one of the two. Yeah, he's multitasking. Alright, let's continue here. I'm not sure which side I was doing before I stopped, so we're just going to do a couple strokes on each. Get back in the zone. So, most of your work will be done on the, like, more coarse grit stones. So I'm actually going to spend a lot less time on this stone than I did on the previous one. I'm already to the point where I'm going back and forth. Thank you to the 7 people in here yet again. Let's test that again. I'm going to give it a couple strokes on the strop. I can't speak apparently. But a couple strokes on the strop. Knock off any pieces that are just hanging on there. And give it a test. See how we're doing. This piece of paper is a little bit thicker. This is like the cover of the ad. But yeah, it goes right through that. This is like normal paper thickness. And it's going right through that like a champ, as it should. There you go. Well, I missed that one. Let's try it again. There's like a fold in the paper, so it won't go through that, but the rest of it's doing pretty good. Yeah. I'm happy to move on to our, I believe it's a 1200 grit now, and finish up knife number 1. Need to watch my weather. Tornadoes around and bad hailers too, says Loma. And Bob says, be safe. I corroborate with Bob there. Yeah, make sure you're safe there. If you need to pop off the live to go shield yourself from a tornado, that's certainly a good reason to get off the live stream. So make sure you keep yourself safe there. Oh man, not quite enough space. There we go. Now we got it. I eyeballed it and almost had it perfect, but not quite. Alright, so this is our super fine grit one. Yet again, not going to spend a ton of time on this. But just enough to polish it up there. Gonna do like 5 strokes per side probably. And then I think that's 4. Now we'll move to the other side. 5 people still in chat. Thank you guys. Tie your computer down and strap yourself to it. This is must-see TV. Good filleting knife or bait knife. Are you referring to this one here? Yeah, this is the one I tested in, I guess it was not the previous video, but the one before that. Yeah, I bought this one to be like a good outdoorsy, woodsy knife that I could do bushcraft stuff, but it's a flat grind, so it should do food prep stuff pretty well too, and it did perform well in my testing for food prep stuff. So yeah, definitely could do some impromptu fillet stuff with this knife. Let's continue getting her polished up here. Now we'll just go like 2 strokes, 2, 2, and then go 1, just back and forth. And that's probably going to be, unless I have some random hang up when I'm doing our testing here, that's probably going to be how I end this knife. Nice and slow. And then it gets to the point to where, yeah, that's pretty good. We'll test the super thin magazine style paper, see if it's doing good on that now. If I can get down there to grab it, that is. Let's see how it does on this. So I do have a little hang up right there. Oh, now it's not there anymore. That's pretty good. Yeah, there's a little one right there, but generally we're pretty good. Oh, almost made it all the way through. It's real hard to make it all the way through with this super limp stuff, but yeah, that's pretty good. And then what I do is I take it on the strop and do like 10 strokes each side. Essentially reverse the way I was doing it on the stone. I was pushing like towards the blade on the stone, and I'm going the opposite way on the strop. I should just knock off any extra abrasions. And then once I'm done that, do a couple on this super fine, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And if you wanted to get super precise and stuff, and if I was doing this like for someone, like I was getting paid to do it, which I've done once or twice, then I'd put a little bit more effort into this. But this is going to be the extent of sharpening for that knife. So we got 1 of the 4 done. Probably not going to finish all of them on the stream, but we'll do like 1 more, and then I'll do the others in my free time tomorrow. And we'll probably end up doing one of the smaller knives, so I'll save this one for another time. And we'll do, do we do the Kenku or the off-grid knife? So I'll show you the difference here. This one's like I believe the term is a Kiradashi style blade shape. So it's pretty straight. So this one honestly should be pretty easy to do. Or do you guys give me a challenge and I try and do the off-grid knives, which has a lot of curvature to it? Which one do we want to see here? Do we want to make it easy on me or hard on me? Let's check chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. Nolan, take that knife with you to Philadelphia for flatties. You're going to need huge baits for them, and buy some bait elastic too. Yeah, if I go back down in the summer with Bob, I will. And I'm scouting out, now that I have a vehicle and can drive, I'm scouting out some good flathead spots around my area to do some like camping out overnight, do some overnight flathead fishing. So yeah. When I was in scouts, they taught us to go in like half a circle. I can't get used to going away from me. Yeah, that definitely works. What I think you're referring to is, I'll just grab one of these, is something like, let's move strop. Something like, I'm not good at it because I'm not familiar with it, but something like this. Yeah, you probably can't see, but like that. Get your edge and do little half circles. That definitely does work. It all just depends on the way you want to do it. If that feels more comfortable to you, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And yeah, that works. Oh, I've got a bivy and a hammock system. Let's go. Nolan, Bob is going to be meeting up with Small Water Charters, John in Lindia. He's moving to Florida to fish Donkey Land, where he might actually catch a bass. I'm going to be all alone here in PA. That's not true. There's other people. I can go hang out with Jeff Beal and all your PA friends while you're gone, Bob. We'll have a party without you, you know? Stuart's asking Bob to do a live on Monday, and it depends on Stuart's behavior. I would like to see a live on Monday too. So be on your best behavior, Stuart, so you don't ruin it for the both of us, you know? All right, so do we have a consensus here on which of these two smaller knives I'm going to do? Are we going to do the difficult one or the easy one? Give me a vote here. Whatever the first thing that comes in chat is the one I'm doing. Are we going easy or hard? I'm waiting. I'm just going to wait. We still got 6 people in here. Thank you to everyone in here. Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors, New Hope Fishing List. Jeff Beal, yeah, that's true. If I'm go hard. Sorry, that's what Stuart meant up here. Sorry, I did not process that the first time, Stuart. I will do the hard one for you. Yeah, if I'm incorrect, let me know. But isn't Off the Hook Outdoors? They're a little bit further away, aren't they? A little bit more out in western Pennsylvania, or am I making things up? Yeah, let me know if I'm making things up, but I thought he was a little bit more west. Yeah, 6 hours west. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, they are still in PA, that is true. However, I'm still new enough at driving to where I'm not sure my parents are letting me go quite that far out west. I mean, I took a day trip, which I didn't ever post about on the channel because it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing, but I tried to go down to New Jersey maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that, to do a striper fishing attempt, and it did not really go well. We went to the Keensburg Pier in Raritan Bay, New Jersey area, and it was really good 2 days before we were there, and then it rained a ton. The water got muddy. It got a little bit colder, and there were probably 100 people out on that pier, and there were 2 fish caught while we were there, and there were only 3 total caught the entirety of the day. It was crazy. So my mom and I ended up driving up there. That's my point about what I'm saying here is when I went to New Jersey, which was like 2.5 hours to get where we were going, with traffic, that is. It's probably 2 hours without traffic. But yeah, she wasn't going to let me drive all that way all by my lonesome. So I'm not sure they'd let me go to Western PA by my lonesome either. So, which I think is reasonable. I've only been driving for like, I don't know, 7-8 months, something like that. John's about 2 or 3 hours away. Okay, yeah. It all depends on what road I'm driving on, I guess. So, getting back to some sharpening. Stuart told me I'm doing the hard one, and what is specifically hard about this one is that what's easy about stuff like this is that you have kind of like a straight line that you can lay it on and start there. This entire length of this blade is curved, so there's not really a straight place for me to start. As soon as I start pushing, I got to be curving, which you got to kind of be in tune with. So this one's definitely going to be a little bit harder, but I think we can get it done. So we're going to start on our coarse stone, and I got to curve it right away, which is definitely a little bit tougher. And this one is D2 as opposed to the OS 10. This is the hardest steel to sharpen out of the bunch, and I can definitely already feel that it's harder. It's resisting me a little bit more. It's not quite cutting in as good. Stuart's chatting here. You need to meet up with Boxcar Jerry, but New Jersey stinks apparently. Maybe that is just Bob, though. Yeah, people got lots of things to say about New Jersey, but it's the closest place for me to where I can go to saltwater fish. Now that I can drive, I'm a little bit older. I'm definitely within the next year or two going to be taking some trips up to New Jersey, whether that's a weekend trip with my dad or something like that. Maybe I'll end up going with Bob and Kev the one time. We'll see. And then here shortly, then maybe I'll get to go by myself. But definitely do some more saltwater stuff because I now have more ability to go and do stuff like go fish New Jersey. So definitely something that's in the future of the channel is doing some saltwater stuff in Jersey. And yet again, you guys just saw, I just released my Multi-Species Madness Outer Banks from last year. I filmed it last year, and I'm releasing my Multi-Species Madness filmed last summer, kind of leading up into our summer vacations this year to get people, you know, like in the fishing mood. I think it's a good idea. It was my dad's idea. He has some pretty good ones. But I am going to Outer Banks and Ocean City, Maryland yet again this year. So we got some more fun saltwater stuff to come. I always love saltwater because you never really know what you're going to get. And it's very different from what I typically do. So it's a great learning experience every time I do it. I think I had a chat. I'm going to finish this set of sharpening strokes and then I'll take a look at that. Let's see what we got here. You can camp at Belle Plaine for like $15 and it's 15 minutes from Sea Isle. Yeah, that's where you guys went and caught stripers the first time, if I'm correct. We looked at there, but at least according to what we were seeing, there was more action up north. But yeah, the particular day we went, there was no action really anywhere near just kind of like the inland part. The only people who were catching stripers were the people out on boats. So, yeah, it was still not the greatest thing ever. It was still unfortunate, but it doesn't hurt quite as much when you're not the only person not catching. Like, nobody was catching anything, so it doesn't quite make you feel like you're a bad angler when other people are having the same issues. So, yeah, I'm telling you, there were triple-digit number of people on that pier, and there were only 3 fish caught, so it was not a great day on the water for anybody. So, if you guys remember in the video, this was the one that lost the second least sharpness, and out of all the actual fixed blades I was testing, this one was the one that retained the most sharpness. So this one actually, even though it's a harder steel, shouldn't take that much work to get back in working order. So we'll take a couple strokes on the strop, see how we're doing so far. Let's grab our paper. Here you go. This is the kind of flimsy newspaper stuff. So I'm tearing right at the edge there. But the rest of it's going through pretty good. I have a little hang up there. Yeah, right about here I have a little hang up. But everywhere else is honestly pretty good. Or maybe not. There we go. Yeah, little hang up right there, but all the way out to the edge, it's pretty good. So, not too much work left to do on this one as far as getting everything straightened out, and then we'll just kind of polish up the edge and be done with this one. We're 43 minutes into the live, so by the time I'm done with this one, I think I'm going to just sit down, tell you guys about some future plans coming on the channel, especially one really big idea that I kind of want to assess, see what you guys think of for... I guess it would be starting next week. I have a cool idea to try, and I want to see what you guys think. But yeah, I typically just talk to you guys a little bit before the end of the live, and I usually cut them at about an hour. So coming up on that pretty quick. Still got 6 people in here. Thank you guys, as always, for coming in here on a Friday night. Lots of fun things to do on a Friday night, but you choose to watch a guy rub metal against some metal covered in diamonds. So I appreciate that. Yeah, so I've got a little hang up right at the heel of the blade, and this one doesn't have that same issue that the previous knife does, so I can go right up to the heel of the blade and try and work that out a little bit. So I'm working on that. And I'm also working on this little one out by the edge, but generally we're pretty good. Alright, I think I'm going to move on to our next stone. So this is our 600 grit stone. Where did I put that? It's not on the bench anymore. I'm not sure where I put it. Oh, it's down under here. Got 5 people in chat still. Thank you for hanging with me. I always, as I mentioned several times throughout all these lives, I always appreciate interacting with you guys, getting your guys' feedback on stuff. Chat from a couple minutes ago. Yeah, North was the right call when I went, referring to my striper trip, which didn't yield anything, but as Bob just mentioned, that wasn't because of I was in the wrong spot. Nobody in that entire area was really catching anything because of that storm that we had the day before and the consequences of that. So, you know, not much you can do about it in a situation like that. So we're back onto the 600 grit stone. Gonna do 5 strokes per side for the first round. I always lose count when I'm talking. I think that's 5. Maybe I'm wrong, but there you go. That was not a good one. Sometimes you can tell you got off course a little bit. So there we go. Now I'm back in it. Came off the stone from Rusty. There we go. Now I'm going to do 3 per side. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that last one again. That was not great. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And now we'll just go 1 per side. Yeah, this one's sharpening up nicely. I did 2 per side, even though I said I was going to do 1. So we'll do 2. Now we'll just go back and forth. Yeah, that's feeling really good. Alright, Stuart's having some chats, asking Bob where Kevin is. And then he's asking me, when are you next sea fishing? So, unless I do a spur-of-the-moment trip to Jersey, like I mentioned might happen here in the future, we are heading down to the Outer Banks. I guess it's my 2nd week of summer vacation, and my summer vacation, meaning when I'm off from school, starts on June 6th, I believe it is. I have very limited amounts of stuff to actually do for school, so summer's almost starting. You know, all 3 of my AP classes are done, so I don't have work for those. And a lot of my other classes are winding down. The only one I really have work for nowadays is Spanish. And I'm pretty, for lack of better terms, pretty naturally pretty good at Spanish, so don't have a ton of work to do for any classes, and I will have some random days to where I'm not in school here to be able to do some other stuff. So school's winding down quick. Officially ends June 6th, and then 2 weeks after that is when we go to North Carolina and do some more saltwater fishing. That video I just released, we're going back down to that same area. So some of those sort of things is what I'm going to be doing again, but I've got some other ideas of how to do some more novel things too. Nolan, we are thinking of fishing flatties on a weekly basis during the week, like every Tuesday night. Any interest once school is out? Definitely have interest. I'm not sure I would be able to do every Tuesday night, but I could definitely join you on a couple of those, especially since we now know you. Yet again, same sort of thing. I'm not sure my parents are quite ready to let me solo drive into Philly. As I'm sure you know, Philly and city driving can be a little bit crazy, but now that we're familiar with you guys, I'm sure they wouldn't really have any hesitation letting me tag along for the ride with you guys. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested in doing a couple of those trips with you guys this summer. I said I was pretty much done with this, but I'm going to do a couple more passes just to make sure. Yeah, it feels pretty good. So I'm going to strap this one up, do a couple cut tests, show you what kind of progress we made. This one, as I mentioned, wasn't in too rough of shape. And then probably going to turn the camera up towards me, talk for a little bit, and then we will cut this live. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Let's see how we're cutting. This is the little thin floppy magazine type paper. If you can get a slow cut all the way through magazine paper, you're doing it right. Oh, I have an ever so slight hang up there. Almost made it. But yeah, you can see this is doing pretty well here. Almost made it. I'm so close. I'm not a pro. There's some really good, really talented sharpeners out there. Oh, I did a little bit of cheating, but I can pretty much make it all the way through. Alright, anyway. Yeah, sharpness on this one's pretty good. So that's our second one done. We got 2 of the 4 done, and I think we're going to call it for actual sharpening there. Just talk to you guys for a little bit. So let's bring this up right here. And do that. There you go. Actually, we'll put it right there. Sorry guys, I'm wobbling around the camera like crazy. I gotta loosen up this here for us. And we'll put it right there. And I'll scooch in here. Alright, now we're in position. Alright. So yeah, I'm just essentially going to talk about things. Yeah, whatever that means. Talk about some things. Some plans for future videos, future just general plans and what's going on. And then we're going to cut this stream at somewhere just after 9 o'clock. So, as far as future videos, I definitely got behind schedule of where I wanted to be because of how busy I've been with school stuff and all that. I wanted to have released the Ocean City Multi-Species Madness by this time, but it's probably going to end up being another week or so before I do that. I'm going to release that one. I have an idea of something I want to try, and I want to see what you guys, there's 4 of you in chat, I want to see what you guys think about said idea. So, National Fishing and Boating Week starts on the 1st of June, which is in 6 days. I'm thinking that I may end up doing like a fishing video a day for that week, for National Fishing and Boating Week. Maybe I'm thinking like 4 shorts, a long form video, the Multi-Species Madness Ocean City video, have that release at the end of the week, and maybe a live, something like that, and doing a fishing content, fishing video every single day of the week. Would that be something you guys are interested in, or would that be like content overload? Because I know people like Bob do that a lot, but he posts a lot of clips and stuff from the live, whereas mine would be kind of individual videos in of themselves. Each individual one would be presenting new. Would that be too much content, or would that be something you guys would be interested in? Be definitely a decent bit on decent bit of work on my part, but I think I could do it. So, Bob, you got ages before you get to bed. Bob doesn't need sleep. He gets enough when fishing. Serious, making fun of him again. Anyfin says, do it. Don't ask us dum-dums, just do it. Well, and then Raptor Will says, that would be good. I would watch. So it sounds like something we'd be interested in. I definitely have to plan that out a little bit. But yeah, any ideas, that sort of thing, I'm welcome to. But I think I'm going to try my best. I'm probably going to prepare some of them beforehand, but I think I'm going to try and get a video out every day of National Fishing and Boating Week, starting on June 1st, which is here in about 6 days. Stuart says, I want a multi-species fishing live with friends on panel. we can try that. Yeah, I'd have to talk to some people, maybe get some of Bob's channel friends involved, but we could definitely do that. We could make it like just PA. We can make it international. We could do whatever. Like if you want to join in, Stuart, and do some fishing, go ahead. Just let me know what you guys are interested in. I'll try and work that out. I'm not making any promises, but I can try that. We'll see what happens. So yeah, as far as any other plans, I've got a whole bunch of different gear that I'm testing and planning on releasing videos on over the summer. I still have the footage from Florida where I did a multi-species madness episode down there. And I've got some other fun bushcrafting projects to do over the summer. I think I'm also going to do some backpacking and camping style stuff. So we got some more fun stuff to come. We also go up to our lake house several times over the summer, several like short weekend trips. One of those weekend trips, I always make a multi-species madness episode where my specific goal is to go and get as many species as possible. But I also just do other random fishing, and I think now that we have better mobile service than we did when I tried this before, I think I can actually pull off a live like catfish, bass, and night fishing live at the lake house. So stay tuned for that. I think I'm actually going to do like a live sort of fishing thing. I want a multi-species sea fishing. We can try. I'm not sure if we do like a panel thing, maybe someone can be out there in the ocean, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull that off. But yeah, we'll see. I still have, as I mentioned, the Ocean City multi-species madness to release here probably in a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'll release that. Yeah, there's some multi-species sea fishing in that video. That's the only thing I can get multi-species. Oh, so you're suggesting you want to do multi-species sea fishing? Yeah, that's fine. If we get you on panel, you can fish whatever the heck you want. That's what my thing with fishing is. Fish for anything. Just remember to yell out something about a Sasquatch every few minutes. That way, when you lose the signal, you'll have an attentive audience. Yeah, that makes sense. One thing I actually really found cool is the other day in your live, I'm not sure what happened. I'm talking to Bob here. But the other day in your live, your feed went out. I'm not sure if your battery died or what happened, but everyone, more or less, everyone stayed in the live when the feed went out, which was kind of cool. I guess that's kind of like the big draw of your channel. It's such a community thing. Everybody was still chatting when the feed went out, and most people stayed in the live, which was pretty cool. But yeah, saying you got attacked by Sasquatch could definitely do the same sort of thing. But yeah, I'm trying to think about anything else I want to say here. Here's what happened. Stu made me fish an extra hour, so I drove like crazy to get home so I could make contact. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any other things I want to say. Yeah, phone died. I'm not sure if there's anything more I really want to say before I end this live. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's live. Maybe learned something. What if you didn't learn something, hopefully you just enjoyed chatting with everybody in stream. As I mentioned before, I always like talking to you guys, interacting with you guys. And yeah, I think that's going to be just about it for today. I hope you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. I know I'm probably not telling any of you anything you don't know, but especially on holidays like this, I know it's easy, really any holiday, it's really easy to get caught up in like celebrating stuff, but on this sort of thing, it's really important to remember like why we celebrate stuff. So just make sure you keep the families of military members in mind. You know, it's tough watching anybody go out there and try and do stuff to risk their lives, especially when they end up losing their life. And here in America, and really anywhere that has a good military presence, I know we definitely appreciate the people who do that. So we here in America, I know Stuart's from Scotland, I'm not sure who else is in here, but we are going into Memorial Day weekend, if you are not familiar, and it's to remember those who gave their life to help protect the country. So make sure you guys remember that. And yeah, I think that's how I'm going to end the live. Make sure you guys enjoy your weekend. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I'm going to end it like exactly at 1 hour. So, yeah, thank you guys for coming in. I'm going to cut this live, and I'll see you next time. Yep. Bob says, hard to hear Happy Memorial Day. All gave some gave all. Yep. Good thing to remember. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.